We are in the top 16 for the best current rapper tournament where things are really heating up. Last week you voted on Big Sean versus Benny the Butcher, and surprisingly, Big Sean pulled it out 31 votes to 10. So Big Sean will be moving on to the top 8. And this week we have the juiciest matchup yet with Joey Bada versus Lil Wayne. Let's start off with Joey Bada. As I said in the last video, during the top 16, we will be focusing only on the projects that these artists put out in the last 5 years. And Joey Bada has released 2 projects in the last 5 years, one of them being All-American Badass and the other one being Escape from New York with the Beast Coast Collective. All-American Badass was critically acclaimed. This was an amazing album that showed a lot of growth from Joey Bada. And there were some amazing hits on there like Temptation and Devastated. Joey's production on this album was taken to a whole other level. It's so crisp and clean and big. And he sang more than ever before on this album, showing us some crazy vocals that we really hadn't heard prior to this album being released. And being able to sing like that and rap like that adds so many layers and dimensions that is just brilliant. Meanwhile, the Escape from New York collaboration album with Beast Coast is amazing. It's so much more gritty and there is a ton of great storytelling on there. A lot of hip hop heads would love this album. And while there are a lot of artists on this album, featured on this album, Joey had such a huge influence on the overall sound of this project. And his penmanship on this project really shows that. Joey is no doubt one of the top rappers out there right now. But we move on to Lil Wayne, who is considered one of the best of all time due to his full discography over the past basically 20 years. But in just the last 5 years, he too has only released 2 projects, being the Carter 5 and Funeral. Carter 5 was an album that we waited for such a long time, and Wayne definitely delivered on it. Of course, it was full of hits, entendres, great wordplay, great freestyling, great storytelling from Lil Wayne. Songs like Famous and Mona Lisa were extremely prodigious cuts that hit you hard in the heart and kind of blew your mind in terms of storytelling. While we still had bangers like Uproar and Dedicate to show that Lil Wayne is still on top of his game. And then we had Funeral, and this album was very long, the production was a little darker, and so was his lyricism, yet there were still a ton of bangers from Wayne. This album almost reminded me of like an I Am Not a Human Being series project. It really made me feel that Wayne could rap forever just because of how great his freestyling abilities really are. And these 2 projects just show that Wayne has not fallen off whatsoever, which is very impressive considering how long that he's been in the game for. So we know Lil Wayne and we know Joey Bada, but who are you going to vote for the better current rapper? Make your vote right now in the comments below. Vote to push the artist to the top 8 where things are going to get even tougher. Voting ends 9/24, so be sure to cast your vote. And if you want to vote twice, follow me over on TikTok at EJSpark1. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on this tournament as we move further along. Thank you so much for coming by. As always, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok at EJSpark1. And as always, you know what it is. It's peace, love. I love s'mores. EJ, out.